and welcome back to Conspiracy Cats. Now, you might have noticed that I've been gone a lot longer than usual, and the reason for that is the amount of time it's taken for me to recover from this devastating proof that gravity doesn't exist.
Now this oil that I'm adding is olive oil, and the oil before was just vegetable oil. This proves that gravity is total BS.
And just when I was trying to process that, I was reminded of the time when gravity was also destroyed using a piece of wet fruit.
One blueberry floating on the top. It's not gravity. Not gravity. This is density. This is an extraordinary explanation of density right here. We just did science, guys.
Well, I'll be damned. You can find floating bits of evidence that gravity isn't real everywhere. Kids, come and look at this. Magical. Now that's settled, I want to take a look at a couple of flat earthers whose arguments aren't quite as strong as the ones we've just seen in a little competition I like to call Why Should Flat Earthers Bother Explaining Anything at All? Why should flat earthers bother explaining anything at all? And here's contestant one. First up is Flatzoid FE, weighing in at a spectacular... Well, actually, he doesn't believe in gravity, so I guess he doesn't weigh anything at all. But he does believe that density is the reason we push down on our weighing scales. So using his ideology, we can say he's very dense indeed. Now, before we take a look at Flatzoid's globe-killing argument, let's just remind ourselves of one of his past achievements. Here he is, teaching us a little bit about geometry.
Notice the angle is a right angle. Look at that vertex. This can only happen with straight right angles.
Yes, that's right. That's Flatzoid telling us that this 60-degree angle here is a right angle, and only things with right angles can have corners. Good job.
Amazing.
Wasn't it just? Now, I know what you're thinking, but don't worry, Flatzoid did bob back to clear up any confusion in the comments section of that very video. And I'm sure somewhere in here is the actual explanation to what he really meant. All we've got to do is find that explanation ourselves by putting the words in the right order. So the idea of this competition is to find the flat earther who is clearly least bothered about presenting arguments that they have obviously done no research on whatsoever. And the winner obviously is a person who's done least research. The first clip comes from a video that Flatzoid put together a couple of weeks ago. It was a top 10 globe fails, or top 10 video of why the globe is wrong. Now in this video, perhaps wisely, he uses text rather than his voice as the medium for which he's going to make his mistakes. So this isn't a flat earth proof per se, more a typical flat earth attempt at debunking the globe. Here Flatzoid shows us a nice picture of the inside of the earth, and then he tells us that metals have a Curie point. Now perhaps surprisingly, he's not wrong yet, but for those of us who can't remember from school what a Curie point was, let's just run through it very, very quickly. If we imagine a magnetic material, groups of atoms can all align themselves together in what we will call a domain. Now these domains on this picture are represented by the mini magnets we can see inside the box. Now in a permanent magnet, all these domains are lined up in the same direction, and it's this that allows that magnet to act like a magnet. However, heat that magnetic material above its Curie point, and there's so much energy in those atoms now that they'll no longer align perfectly in the magnetic field, and they will lose their magnetic properties. Flatzoid now starts to play hard and fast with his units for temperature as he tells us that the Curie point of iron is 770 coulombs and the temperature in the inner core is about 6,000 coulombs. Somebody teach him how to use that superscript button. Now you might think I'm being a little bit picky there with those units, but it does seem to be a thing in the flat earth community that they feel you can randomly swap the units coulomb for degrees Celsius and vice versa, as I found out when I gave Flat Earth the Sleeping Warrior a child's GCSE exam paper.
Alright, the potential difference between the filament and the metal target in an X-ray tube is 40 kilovolts. I'm not even sure what that is. The charge on an electron is 1.6 times 10 to the power minus 19 Celsius.
And there we go, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't rob it of a religious belief that the earth is flat and stop it talking bollocks. Now back to Flatzoid's video. What is his point exactly? Well, it does seem that he's now very, very concerned about the Curie point, as he's now calling it. But why? Well, because he thinks at 6,000 coulombs, the Earth's core would lose all of its magnetism, and that would be a problem. Now, on the surface of it, it's not actually a bad question. If all you know about the Earth's magnetic field is that it's caused by an iron core, but the temperature of the iron core is above the Curie point of iron, of course you're going to be curious as to what's going on. But the answer is only 30 seconds away. 30 seconds, it seems, is way too long for somebody who's found an argument that substantiates their religious belief. They don't want to look any further. In fact, Flatzoid, I think I can Google the answer to your problem in less time than it takes Flat Earther Quantum Eraser to say gravity isn't a force 5 times. Let's roll.
Gravity isn't a force. 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 Gravity is a force.
Now, I'm not actually going to explain in this very video how the Earth's magnetic field is produced, and that's because friend of the channel, Mr. Sensible, has just this very minute released a video which deals with this point absolutely brilliantly. I've linked it in the description. I've pinned it at the top of the comment section. It deals with Flatzoid's question really, really well and explicitly. Please check it out. It's an absolute belter. While you're down there, also please check out Andrew Clark's YouTube channel. I've linked that. He's done something that's going to feature in this very video. I think it's the best thing that has ever been on this channel, ever, period. And it's going to be coming up at the end of this video. So if you get a little bit bored in this video, fast forward and see what he's done. It's superb. His channel is well worth checking out. Anyway, before we get to contestant 2... Hi Conspiracy Cats, just me. Now this week I decided to type some letters in a particular order in your comment section. And these are the words that appeared on the screen. What do you think? Because it appears that I think science teachers need to wake up to the fact that the Bible is true. All of it is true, every last bit, and not one professor can debunk it, and they don't even try. Now that is a good point, and one that I'll deal with in a second, but before I do, I want to make it clear that you will never see me slag off Christianity or Islam or Judaism. I'm not interested in attacking individual religions. That's just, it's not on my radar at all. But what I am absolutely adamant against is religious extremism and people taking the words of a holy book literally. That to me is very, very, very dangerous. And in the background, I've been doing some work to try and bring people out of that mindset. Just look what I did with these guys. Gravity pulls things down. It pulls things down. It pulls things down. It pulls things down. Yeah. Yeah. It pulls things down. But let us just imagine for a second that this comment was correct and every word of the Bible was 100% true and couldn't be debunked. Well, that would mean we live in a world where this happened. The Bible does shameless. Episode 1. Mary and Joseph hear about a massive rave in Jerusalem. They go there with their 12-year-old son Jesus and get so absolutely smashed off their face that when they come home, they forget to bring their son with them. It takes them an entire day to come down before they realise they've left him behind. The Bible does shameless. Episode 2. Everybody's come down from the rave and Paul decides to spend one more night in the town before he goes home. It is at this point that everybody realises how boring Paul is when he's not high. In fact, he's so boring in this episode, he literally bores somebody to death. The Bible does shameless. With at least another 10 months to the next rave, everybody's wondering what to do with their time now. So these two young women devise a cunning way to pass the time. They decide to get their father so unbelievably smashed that they can sleep with him and become impregnated by him. The Bible does shameless. Remember, this is all true, and not one professor can debunk it. That's why they don't even bother. Join us in the next episode as we find out you can commit whatever horrendous crimes you want as long as you feel sorry about it afterwards and you can go to heaven. However, lose your testicles in some unfortunate accident, let's say involving peanut butter and an overzealous gorilla, and you're screwed. Anyway, enough of that. Contestant 2. Next up is Jeranism, the man who proves that if at first you don't succeed, never mind, keep at it, because there's a whole plethora of ways that you could end up being wrong. Now, you'll all remember Jeranism as a flat earther who famously took part in a Netflix documentary, and in that documentary he proudly displayed this experiment here to determine the shape of the Earth. The images show what's going on, but essentially, if you can only see the light when it's lifted, the Earth cannot be flat.
We don't see you, Enrique. Lift up your light way above your head. Interesting.
So Jeranism produced a similar sort of top 10 globe fail video to Flatzoid. Let's take a look at his point number 9, time zones, and see whether Jeranism can put even less effort in than Flatzoid. It's going to be close.
Number 9, time zones. No edge jokes, just edge understanding.
Here you can see the sun circles atop us, and look at that. It makes a great little timepiece, doesn't it? And the sun, the moon, and time all go clockwise.
And it is brilliant, isn't it? What I like about his claim is that if you lived near the North Pole and you wanted to go from one time zone to another, you could do it extremely quickly. But if you lived near the South, it would take you several times longer at least. And we live in a world where nobody, not even pilots, have even noticed that. And that's only the first thing that's wrong with this model. So well done to Jaron. It must have taken you a lot of guts to front up and put that out, knowing that you'd done no research whatsoever. Well done. In fact, I think it was so good. Let's look at another one of your pieces of work. In this next video, Jaron is responding to a video by Minute Physics, in which they explain the idea of spherical excess. You draw a triangle onto a sphere, and the angles will add up to more than 180. And if you get the triangle the right size, you can even have all three angles at 90 degrees. Now, we all know that geodesic surveyors measure spherical excess all the time in their daily job, proving that the Earth can't be flat, proving that it must have curvature. But Jaronism doesn't seem to be too happy with this point. And in fact, he debunks it in perhaps the most typical flat Earth way possible.
It's called cheating. It's called misleading. It's a lie. I won't continue to bore you with this one. Simply go get Google Earth. Play with it yourself. It's impossible. The only way it works is by starting at the top of the globe, which is cheating.
And there we go, in the most typical of all flat Earth behaviours, Jaronism uses Google Earth and then just says the word lie. It's absolutely fantastic. But I am glad that he admitted that it does work if you start at the top of the Earth. Because of course we all know that planets don't have a top and everywhere is a top, so therefore it works everywhere. At least I think. Do planets have a top? Excuse me. I'm going to check.
Hey, does a planet have a top? Who the hell is Conspiracy Cats?
Okay, I guess he won't be much help, but I did take Jaron's advice and I did try this myself on Google Earth, and I tried it from a point other than the North Pole, which is what I assume he meant as the top. And it actually took me longer to do this voiceover than it did to draw a triangle that shows spherical excess on Google Earth. So well done, Jaronism. Great work, pal. But in the next staggering development of the story, Jaron now doesn't just believe that spherical excess doesn't appear on the globe or Google Earth. Jaronism starts to doubt the existence of spherical excess in its entirety, even on this football.
You can just take a look at these three right angles right here. I think those angles look pretty acute to me when you turn the triangle over.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's been taking geometry lessons from this guy.
Notice the angle is a right angle. Look at that vertex. This can only happen with straight right angles.
Now, you might have noticed I'm a bit of a sarcastic prick, but I am nothing if I'm not a helpful sarcastic prick. So Jaron, take my help as I walk you through how to draw a triangle. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Flat Earth Geometry Advanced Level 12. This week, the triangle. Are we ready, everybody? You can do this. Grab that pen and paper and follow along. Please start by making three corners like this. Like this. Well done, Jaron. Way to go, buddy. But can you join the lines like this, like this? Not sure that's quite right, buddy. Let's keep going, eh? And we'll join the bottom lines like this, like this. I'm really not sure what you're doing there, Jaron. Anyway, finish the triangle like this, like this. Yeah, and that's it, Jaron. That's how you draw a triangle. See you next time. So there we go. Please post in the chat which of our two flat earthers is the best at doing absolutely no research whatsoever. I think they both deserve to win, and they both represent everything that flat earth is about. Well done. And so does this guy.
My God. You better stay within your little framework over there, numpty. I catch you outside there, you know what's going to happen. We both know what's going to happen, don't we? Clown.
Now this is Flat Earth's very own Quantum Eraser, and he's talking in this clip about me and how if he bumped into me in any sort of platform whatsoever, he would dispose of me in a debate with ease. He seemed very confident about that, didn't he? So I immediately accepted and sent him this message. Flatzoid's latest video with you on talking about me at 3 minutes 36, you issued me a debate challenge in which you say, you catch me outside my framework and we both know what will happen. Let's set it up. I'm here and it'll be a piece of cake for me. We can agree on a neutral channel and this is the bit where you instantly decline. Now, nobody watching will be surprised to hear that the immediate response from Quantum Eraser was to decline my offer. What a surprise. Far be it from me to show you the actual message that he sent me. I don't think that would be very tasteful to share private messages in public. But friend of the channel, Andrew Clark, has seen the entire message. And what he's done with that message is, like I said earlier, the best thing I think that has ever been on this channel. He's produced an amazing song for us. And if you watch this song closely enough, you might just be able to pick out the exact words that Quantum Eraser used in his reply to me, if you watch it close enough. Please check out Andrew Clark's channel. There's lots and lots of material like this. Anyone in this community will find his channel absolutely hilarious. Anyone outside the community, I think, will find it hilarious. Please just go and check him out. But for now, here's Andrew Clark's version of Quantum Eraser's reply to Conspiracy Cats.
I've got my own ideas about the shape of our planet, and I'm pretty sure that I must be smarter than most. There's a part of my brain that's dedicated to science, and I know that Einstein's theories are incredibly flawed. I'll call you out whenever I'm online. Oh yeah, and I'm safe behind this screen of mine. But I'm afraid of cats. I'm afraid of cats. I can see your ass whooping out there on the horizon, which is weird cause it's supposed to be a vanishing point. There's nothing I'd like more than to rip you a new one. I could tear your thoughts to pieces at the drop of a hat. Did you forget who you're talking to, son? Oh no, you'll be sorry when my takedown's begun. You'll be so sorry, and if you want to talk about it, well then I gotta run. Cause I'm afraid of cats. And I'm afraid of cats. And have you Jedi mind tricked yourself into thinking you're legitimate with intellectual integrity and a science acumen? Piss off, pretender clown. You're barely worth the time it takes to poo. Not worth the time it takes. And my mother gave me important chores to do. I gotta take the bin out. I don't have time to waste telling you that you're wrong. And I'm afraid of cats. I'm deadly afraid of cats. I can't be near cats. Oh, I don't talk to cats, cause they scare me. No. I heard you challenge me to debate, but I gotta say that my hearing ain't great, so I didn't hear it. Oh, I'm afraid of cats. Oh, I'm afraid of cats. Like a mouse, I'm afraid of cats.
No, Jaren, it's got 3 sides and all the lines have to touch each other. How many times?